Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is yours truly, Dr. Angelia Griffin, coming back to you with ATM, all that matters. It's been a minute. Yes, I know. Like many of you, I had to take a quick sabbatical. I am back like y'all. I've gone through graduations, funerals. Life has been lifing. But because of that, I just want to make sure everybody understands I took my break. I'm back in the game. Why am I back in the game? Because I have a responsibility. I promised each of you that we would continue to talk about our B.L.E.N.T.H strategic pillars. What are they? Business, legal matters, education, nonprofit, technology, and or healthcare. And just so you know, not only am I back, I'm back with a bang. I figured the best way to come back was to welcome back my great friend, Mr. Lee Wright. Father God, you already know what's getting ready to happen. Not only am I going to be interviewing Mr. Wright, but I am going to be learning. So ladies and gentlemen, I invite you on this journey with me as I welcome back Mr. Wright, who was back with us back in, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Wright, it was last September. Yeah. On the 26th, 28th, somewhere in there, but you're back, and you're back not only doing what you do, but even greater. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back with me. A hand of applause, as they say, a round of applause. Welcome back, Mr. Lee Wright. Thank you so much. So how have you been?
Wow, working. I've been busy, but great. And allowing the universe and the creator of the universe to speak through me to create without barriers.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So
without barriers. You know what? I think I'm going to start taking a page from your book. Why? Because I think I've personally been guarding myself, and I want to follow in your lead, if you don't mind. So why don't you, for those that have listened and heard you back a year ago, why don't you bring those that are just now joining the party with us? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, retired military. I did 28 years in the military. I work also as a regional manager for a healthcare organization, pretty huge, based in Florida. And then I started the journey of creating my own company, which I started the company technically in 2015, the Wright Improvement Group, which is TWIG. And it's expanded from it was a home finishing business initially, where I was trying to create a company to help folks in the community to have jobs, right? That may not have been qualified to do other things. And part of that was a training ground too, for them to learn how to do sheetrock, to learn how to do landscaping, create those things to teach them how to fish, right? Instead of giving them nice pieces of fish. And then I had, the military was kind of in the lead, and when you're doing a few different jobs, you understand how that can be. So once I got in the healthcare business, I started to kind of put more energy into myself. I started to realize that the life I was given was not here to just live, but to be productive and constructive each day.
Absolutely. It's when I hear you talk about your journey to where you are today, I can only say it's worth it, because so often as an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a facilitator, I could keep going talking about me, but what I'm hearing is it's like looking into a mirror when I hear you talk. You start in one place, you leverage that, and you move on, but all along the journey, you're empowering other people.
100%.
I love that.
100%.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And since the last time we talked, I don't know if we should go backwards. I think we should. Let's step back for a minute. Just talking about some of the projects and the best practices you were using then, because even when I spoke to you recently, I'm like, we cannot just talk. We got to record this. Yeah. So let's recap what we talked about prior. We know that TWIG and what it stands for, but most importantly, from, we'll say, yesterday back, what are 3 things that really helped you to know that you got to embellish what you've already done?
Well, one of the things, Dr. That's a good question. One of the things has been, my first book was my bubble opinion. And all my life, once I became kind of actively participating in my present, right? Um, I talked about creating that space around yourself that's your safe space, where your mind is comforted, where you don't have to stress and you're allowing other things deal with their own things before you take ownership of them to, hey, come to the rescue, or to be that comforter, or that safety net.
Yes.
And part of that is, in writing those books, it allowed me to be able to go into it kind of goes into my newest book, What is Your Pain Language? The language of isolation, not in a negative manner, but in a manner so I can grow to help others. And I say that, and that's the one thing. The other thing is, a lot of times we deal with so many different things that are not ours. We don't have time to grow so we can truly help people around us grow, right? Because we're giving half effort, not even half effort, 1/10, because we have so many things going on. And the final part is get off the couch. Get off the couch, put that work in. And I'll say this, one thing my son said, and he's a lawyer. He said, you know what, Dad, even if you have revenge, or you're upset, or you're trying to prove yourself, or even your passions, trying to get your passions, you got to get up and do it. Because you just thinking about it, you got to do it. And I say that in a manner to that, doing it is tireless, not a lot of sleep. You wake up in the middle of the night, putting stuff on canvas, writing it down, capturing your thoughts. You see things and you just say, well, let me allow myself to help people in my voice, in my present, as a safe space. And that's that third part. I think that's critical now as we go to help people, to help youth and young adults, and all this noise that's going on around us, is that you got to get up off the couch and work. You got to put that work in. It's not going to manifest itself without that hard, unrewarding, meaning materialistic labor.
I get it. But I have to take you back for just a moment. The bubble opinion. Some people didn't get a chance to go ahead and procure that book. So, where can we get the bubble opinion again? Refresh our memories and tell us just an excerpt about the bubble opinion.
Amazon. Go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can get it at Walmart, Kmart, not Kmart. Let's go. You can get it at any store that sells books.
Okay.
You can search it, Google search it, or go on Amazon, buy it. It's available. And that book talks about building that safe space around yourself with your faith, your knowledge, your skill set. It talks about only selecting people around you that have skills and talent. I remember saying that to somebody. They say, well, are you just using people? No, I don't want the skills and talent you have for me, but for you, because you're going to work at those. And automatically you're creatively doing it. And if people are in your same space with skills and talent, it's just thriving knowledge. And they see things you might not see, and they share it. Like, hey, did you think of this? Like, no, I didn't. Well, guess what? I know how to do it, and let's do it together. Come on. So that's what that book talks about. And one last thing, I'll give you one more about volume 2. That'll be out real soon, right?
Y'all get ready.
It starts with the first chapter is about your why, understanding your why. But that second chapter is about titles. And titles, man, they influence us so much, where we give automatic respect, automatic benefit of the doubt, automatic, how should I say, access to us because they have a title. And one of the things I talk about in that volume 2, I'm going to talk about is, hold on, treat everybody like a human first and allow them to deserve that time in your space.
Absolutely.
Allow them to do it no matter what title they have, and you'll find yourself with more energy towards you to help other people grow.
I've been traveling quite a bit, and I must say, I think it was Barnes and Noble's. I can't remember exactly, but one of my friends and I went out to California, and we ran across this book title that said, Let Them. Let Them. And I'm thinking, that's what I'm hearing you say. Let them be who they are. And in being who they are, you position yourself strategically to not only let them, but do you. Oh, I can't wait for volume
Not
two. That's
selfish.
scary. Oh my goodness.
It's not. I respect what you do in your life, Dr. A. Everything, because you should have say so in what you do. And as you have say so with good intentions, since I have skills and talent and you have me in your space, I'm going to feed without your request.
And hence the reason we use words loosely, but you're feeding me and we're empowering each other. Is that a safe assumption?
100% without request
True
and without
that.
looking for anything back. See, that breaks
Oh
the
my God.
generational curse right there because knowledge is empowerment.
Absolutely. Y'all, we can go on and on. And I know I respect your time because many of you are trying to do multiple things. I'm going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, if it's okay with you, Lee, I want to talk more about the services that you offer because a lot of people, we're in this new spirit of time where we're trying to hurry up, play catch up. And we just need a hand up, if you will. And I think a lot of the services that you offer can position people strategically to move fashionably quick into the spaces, if you will, that will allow us to be greater. So if you will, let's take a quick break and we'll come right back and let you talk about the services of Twig. Is that okay?
Yes, 100%.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, come right back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for taking that quick break. And as you've taken that break, I must say, I'm always during the breaks wondering where do I go from here? But rather than interrupt you, Lee, I think it would be befitting if you remind us of how to reach you because somebody's going to ask me and I'm going to be like, listen, I'm listening like you are. Granted, I do have you on my save spots on my computer, if you will. But if you don't mind just reminding us how to get to your site so that we can see what services that you offer and if nothing else, how to schedule an appointment with you because so many times I talk to people that do what you do, and I hate to say it, some of us are not as organized as you are. So get us to how we can connect with you and what it takes to get started for that first assessment so we can determine next steps. So the mic is yours.
So one of the things you can do is, if you're watching this on YouTube or in the podcast, go to mybubbleopinion.com. And on that home page is everything that Twig does. One of the things that, like Dr. A mentioned, was the business needs assessment. Like where you are right now in your present on what you're trying to do. And that's a pretty detailed assessment. And if you fill that assessment out, you're going to discover some things you probably didn't think about yourself, but it's things that allow us to help us collaborate with you to get there to where you want to be. Now, part of the other things that Twig does is we're a publishing company. We publish stuff. If you go to Constructive Talks, LRW on YouTube, you'll see 500-600 videos of things we've done, be it with the Steve Harvey Foundation, the Hank Stewart Foundation, the ATL Chamber with the airport. You'll see we've done things with motherless daughters, all kind of civil rights movers and shakers, all kind of representatives in our communities in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Kansas. But Twig is all about your voice being heard. If it's in your business, fine. Your voice should be heard where you should get that help without, well, I'm going to call it trusting help, where you can trust the people on the other side is looking out for you and your vision and not trying to give you theirs. Now, the Twig Publishing, man, I've written one book, boom, on Amazon, My Bubble Opinion. And the latest book out now is What is Your Pain Language? It's out. Hey, everybody, if you don't have it, it talks about things that are pains or things that we may carry, and it gives 18 dialects, considered dialects of pain. We teach here at Twig where when we're helping you, we want to give those things to you where you can solve those issues from this point forward after you have allowed us to integrate with your organization or the things that you want to do. If you want to write a book, we're going to help you through that entire process, and we're going to publish it for you. And you're going to get a big portion of all royalties of that book. We don't want those things like the traditional publishing company where you get $1 per book or $1.50 per book if the book is $25. We're going to take care of you. Now, one of the other things that Twig does with that same stuff is if you need a website built, no problem. If you need to market and brand your stuff, no problem. If you need to learn how to record yourself so you can brand yourself and upload your stuff, no problem. We're going to teach you how to do all those things. Now, on the flip side, if you don't have that time because you're doing 100 things, we'll do it for you. And I always say this because I make myself laugh. I don't eat kidneys. So I'm not going to charge you a leg and a foot just to do those things for you, because we want you to have quality things. And when you walk away from Twig, or when you lay down at night knowing that we have your back, even when you sleep, you're going to know that the quality and what you give to it is being represented in your name. So that's kind of it. But read that description below and it'll take you to everything. Remember, mybubbleopinion.com. And if you listen to Dr. A, hey, listen to this lady. She is powerful. She is a mover and shaker, and she cares about us. No matter what age we are, right? She cares.
Absolutely.
And she's in the community. She has tentacles everywhere. So listen to her podcast, listen to her channel, and understand that she always has your best interest in mind as well. There you go, Doctor. I had to say that because without you, I'm not everything that I can be.
Oh, y'all, my friends call me the fixer, but as the fixer, I'm nosy. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. And because you are back with me, you skirted right into this next book. First of all, the book is thick, so that tells me I'm about to learn a lot. But what I want you to do is go back to the book. How many chapters is it?
It is 19 chapters.
19. Now, are these easy read chapters, or am I going to have to take a quiz at the end of each one to see what I learned to make sure I learned it?
Well, the cool part is the chapters it's all considerations and perspectives.
Okay.
You get to put your own consideration and perspectives on it based on your life right now. You don't have to follow the things that I'm saying. It wants you to, the call of action is, are you experiencing this like this? Or sort of? And it's just something that's keeping you from being truly what you want to be, and you just haven't spoken. Like that, the language of pain, right? The language of pain. How many times have we, you know what, I'm going to give you a different one that I know we all do. The language of silence, where we have those things inside of us brewing and it just never comes out. That can make pain start from a twitch, and it grows and the frustration grows. But like you said, yes, the book it's 450 pages. Let's not get that misunderstood. It's a read, but guess what? You see that? You see that workbook right there? You see
Yes.
that? It has a workbook. You see those lines? So it's an all-in-one book where it has the chapter, it has the workbook, it has wall affirmations, it has spoken sessions like breathe in clarity, exhale confusion. So it has all these things and all these areas in here. You can journal with it. So one of the things that's important about this, I think, is that say you journal, say you write and you express yourself in this book. 2 generations from now, when they say, hey, you know, my great-great-grandmother or aunt or my great-grandfather, hey, look at this book. It says, what is your pain language? And your words are in there about what you was going through with each one of those languages for you. And they can get that and say, man, you know what? I'm going through the same thing. And this is how they dealt with this. So that's one of the things that book is cool. And I know it's going to change the world. Why do I say that? Because we got what is your love language?
Right.
Got those things, those assessments we take. What is your personality trait? But we don't always talk about the pains we carry in an organized manner. And that's what,
speaking of pains, forgive me for cutting you off. I often speak to women about weathering the storms and those pains that we go through. And sometimes we have a tendency to suffer in silence. This, to me, is a great opportunity and a resource that helped me as I'm possibly going through my pain. I write about it almost to the point where I can start writing my own book. And before I'm done, I might even have a compilation of here's a takeaway. Here's a case study from having gone through your book. You know how I get. I try and fix things. Forgive me. But more than anything, I just personally want to thank you because you have a way of tackling those subjects that we don't want to talk about. It's kind of like a pastor in church talking about money. We don't want to talk about it. We know we need it.
You know it's coming around.
It's coming around. And so thank you for bringing us to this point. Now, to put you on the spot, there are several chapters. I get that. And the book may be thick. And I just want to remind people it's thick for a reason. It's thick with us in mind. It gives us a point of contact where we can write back, talk back to you, or talk to ourselves out loud. But equally as important, of all the chapters, tell me your favorite two and why.
I'm going to say this, that what is your pain language is designed to empower, not to dwell on pain.
Okay.
So other side of that, right? And I'm going to say this right here. I have experienced all 18 dialects, considered dialects of pain, at some level in my life. So I would say every one of them is my favorite because I operate on the other side of it. If I said one that's really helped shape me in the positive manners is, that's a trick question, Dr. A. The language of silence. What am I doing in my silence? Am I empowering myself? Am I reading? Am I learning? Or am I dwelling? No, I'm learning. The language of isolation. What am I doing when I'm alone? Am I just relaxing and chilling or living my best life? No. The language of numbness. And now, guess what? On that numbness, you don't have to actively participate in everything going on around you. Let it be its own. Let it be its own entity, right?
Yes.
And so that's how I use each one of them. I use them in a manner to empower my bubble, within my bubble in my life journey. So I'd say those three right there probably carry the most weight.
Okay.
Yeah, those three right there, I would say.
Well, I'm just going to say to the people.
It's going to be out there somewhere, right? Fixing the unbroken feet. You see that?
And so many of us are, I'll say we're bent, but on the verge of being broken. So before we're broken, I just thank you in advance for helping us possibly to take a path that may not allow us to literally be totally broken, but just bent. So, oh my goodness, I'm getting ahead of myself. But ladies and gentlemen, we have got to take another quick break. I know you guys love it when I keep talking, but I'm respectful of your time. So you can run to the fridge, grab a sandwich, as they say, or run to the restroom. And some of you are driving. You got to figure out where you are in your direction. So if you will, let's take another quick break and we will be right back because I want to do a case study with Mr. Twigs on the line. So if you will, let's take that quick break and we will be right back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking that quick break with us. And if you're like me, you're taking notes, wondering, how do I fit in? And so, Lee, if you could help us, I said case studies, but surely there are some common trends of what people call in for, seek your services for. So maybe if we could do kind of a small, medium, large, if you will, just kind of concept, something that's been somewhat simple to you, but maybe everything to someone that doesn't know how to do it. And then likewise, graduate your conversation with me today so that as we call in, we know we're calling into the right space. We've got the right stop, and we know that the doctor, if you will, Lee Wright's going to put us in the right direction. If not, do it for us for a small nominal fee. So if you could kick us off in that space, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Well, one of the things they should do is go to mybubbleopinion.com first and kind of look at what TWIG does. And then once they do that assessment, or even if they just want to call or reach out via email at TWIG, TWIG at calltwignow.com. So let me get that right. If they want to do that assessment or they just want to email us, they can do twig at calltwig.com and just email and see and have that conversation, because that initial conversation is going to be so broad to throw things against the wall. But it's a safe space for that business owner or that person that's trying to write a book or do anything or want something captured to be able to safely throw it against the wall and we figure it out together. I would say as a case study, what I encounter most of the time is people want patches fixed. Like say a flat tire. Instead of getting the tire changed, the whole assessment just put a little plug in the hole, plug in the hole, plug in the hole. But one thing that I know happens is if you fix that one thing, it directly connects with something else that needs to be done. And a whole lot of quick fixes is not going to call for good operational stability in the organization. So that's one of the things that we do here at Twig is that we want to know the whole entire system that you're trying to do. And that helps us identify our capabilities on how we can help you the fastest. And the turnaround time, I would say, it just depends on that individual, what they're trying to do. But it's not going to take months. It probably won't even take a couple of weeks. If that person has that time to sit down and do it, I would say a couple of weeks turnaround, they're probably going to have what they need to move forward with most things that an organization needs. And you talked about the cost. Of course, the cost is in the work that is required, right? So not too many people will say, hey, I need a roof repair or I need a roof exchange, and that contractor say, okay, it's $50 or $2,000, and they come and your roof is 3,000 square feet. Whoa. They have to get up there and do that assessment, working with the customer. How high is the building, right? How big? What kind of arch angles do you have? And that's what we do. But on the other end of that, like I said before, I'm not trying to break people. They're going to get more quality than they pay for every time. I already know that because in those conversations, I'm going to give them cues or nuggets on other areas of their organization or things they're trying to do to help them see the whole picture. Because I don't want my clients blind. I want them to know everything when they're dealing with me.
You know, I like the fact that when we first started this episode, you talked about your prior experiences. And so the discipline that you've attained from being in the military, so no doubt holds my attention, because a lot of times I've gone to different organizations or entrepreneurs that say they can do one thing and sometimes they ghost me. They get started, but because I'm very inquisitive, I keep asking a lot of questions. And so thank you in advance for not being one of those business owners who get offended when people ask questions. Thank you so much for that. Because it sounds to me like your assessment is a continuation of questions, which helps you to help me help myself.
Correct.
Safe assumption?
100%.
So because of that, and I love how you use the roofing analogy, because through the assessment, you will hopefully ascertain some insight about what I need versus what I want. I know what I want, but not always in line with what I need to get the job done. So thank you and again for that. But for that person that says, well, I can do some things, but I don't have the time to do it. How do you separate what I want from teaching me how to do that to you doing it? At what point do I say, I'm throwing in the towel, I can't do this, press this button over here, here's what I'm looking for, and then the assessment goes from there? What happens?
Well, we're going to figure out together what you do well by yourself.
Okay.
You don't need me to do that. I don't want to do what you do well unless you say, hey, I just don't have time at all. Okay, we'll do on what you do well. But I'm going to make sure you understand how we are integrating with what you do well to take you to that level or that area that you're trying to go and achieve.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this is that I want clients to understand, because if Twig is not there for some reason to help them, if they have to go to someone else in an emergency, or just say, however, whenever on their journey, because all organizations don't stay together forever, right? If they say, hey, we're going to decide to use this company, at least they'll know what that company is supposed to provide them in the areas that Twig was providing. And they'll know the value of, like, hold up, Twig did this, that, and that for this, and they did it like this, but this company is not. And they'll know, they'll be aware of that.
Gotcha. You know, it's interesting. I said small, medium, large, but you put it all together. I can kind of see if I have a small job, I come to you, and if I'm incorrect, correct me, but I get the assessment, The assessment will help dictate or determine if I've got a medium size or a large job and thereafter. So I do appreciate that custom assessment. Here's what I want to throw in the mix right now. So many people are on the bandwagon of AI.
Yep.
Now, as an educator, I've been teaching now for over 2 decades. I'm not against AI, but I think the big picture is how to, knowing what it is and knowing how to effectively and efficiently use it is where a lot of us are at a crossroad. Any insight you can share about AI?
100%. You know, I have a degree, a master's degree in information technology. And I would say, look at AI like this, the loop closer. So if you have a question or you're trying to solve a task and you just need that loop closed with clarity, use AI to close the loop. Don't sit around and guess. Use it and ask specific questions. Ask that question, how do I, or what should I? And allow it to help you close the loop. Because one thing I know about AI is that it has a whole world of information. And I have my little community information. And I'd rather tap into a whole world of information than just my little community of information just to close the loops I need closed. Close the loops with AI.
Absolutely. I couldn't have packaged that up any better because as an educator, I get colleagues saying, oh, AI is the devil. I'm not buying into that. But here's what I have come to learn, and tell me if you agree. With AI, we can be more informative to not only ourselves, but other people. Without it, we're running a race where it's like the finish line keeps getting moved.
Right.
And if we jump in and give our perspectives within AI, we add value to it versus letting the people who may not look like us create all the narratives and provide answers. Do you agree with that?
100%. Let me use this funny thing. So you remember we had the rotary phone back in the
Yes.
80s, right? Now we got the mobile phone, right?
Right?
Anybody not using AI, they're using the rotary phone.
Ooh, great analogy.
Have fun with that. Then you can't call on the go. You got to go back to your mama's house.
Right.
On cord and roll it. So keep using that dial up. You're gonna always be behind. You're never gonna be, how should I say, you would never have a convenience that's gonna raise the level of what you're trying to do to get it done in an efficient manner and high quality by closing that loop.
Efficient, high quality, and expeditiously.
No.
Even as an educator, what I have learned to use AI for, and granted for those students out there, I do have AI checker, so don't think you can just drop me a response from AI and I'm going to grade it. I'll know. So I just want to put that out there. And not only will I know, some of my colleagues will know. So let's not let AI cripple us, but enhance us.
There you go.
I have to say that. I just got to go there. But before we take our final break, why don't you remind us of your contact information for those people that may not have joined us initially, but I want them to make sure they give you a call, reach out to you, or say an email, because calling sometimes you'll have to remember what you talked about, but when we email, we document. So why don't you help us document by reaching out to you, and how do we do that again?
MyBubbleOpinion.com is the website, and it's an assessment on there, and it's also a contact form on it. My phone number to the company is 915-230-1944. Call, leave a message, and you know the deal. Sometimes you need a text or a call and leave that message because of spam, right? And the other email is twig@calltwig.com, and we're going to respond immediately. That's the first business hour of the day. So I look forward to hearing from you, and read that description below. All the links and the numbers are there as well. Hey, reach out, and who knows? Twig may be the organization to help you aspire to your dreams or your passions.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it straight from Mr. Wright, and I like to say right because you'll get it right. And with that said, let's take our final break. And when we come back, if it's not asking too much, I know you've experienced some challenges, some opportunities. I don't do problems anymore. I do opportunities. So I want you to maybe share some best practices, where we should go, because you've got so much information out on the social media. Maybe send us to some spots so we can hurry up and play catch up. Is
Okay.
that okay with you?
Oh, no
So,
problem.
ladies and gentlemen, let's take that final break and we will be right back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's always amazing to me how fast time flies, especially when I have scholars like you, Mr. Wright. You bring it. Not only do you bring it, but you bring it packaged in a way that's palatable, easy to understand for most of my, if not all of my listeners. And I want to personally, publicly say thank you for that.
No problem.
Again, thank you for the military service. But equally as important, I find that as the, if you will, podcast host, a lot of people, it should be hope really, because I hope I say the right thing. I hope I get to where we're needing to go. But I always leave feeling like I should have said something else. So rather than put that on my watch, I'm
No
going to give
problem.
you back the mic. And when I say give you back the mic, there are some lessons perhaps that you've learned over the time that you've been empowering yourself with all these, as my grandmother says, degrees, which we know it's not that hot in here, but lessons that if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a student, if you are just not unsure, I'm not sure where you are, but you're like the gospel for me right now. I need us to empower people beyond where they are today. So this is the first question. Why should we reach out to TWIG? Why not some of the other organizations? And at the same time, as you conclude, think about, if I knew this now, what I know, how much better I could be, because sadly and oddly, people think knowledge is power. I will say this till I'm gone. Knowledge has no power until it's applied, because knowledge is merely information. So from that dismount, take it and take us in. The
Yeah.
mic is yours.
Oh, thank you. One of the things with that knowledge, we got to apply it in a constructive manner with good intentions. Only good intentions, because good comes from that. Um, Man, why should you? Let me give everybody a story about Twig, about me. This is me. This is Lee Wright. Several degrees, no value. Um, my life experience, lessons learned. Quality and understanding that not only does your say so matter, but you knowing with all your heart and soul that you are never broken. You don't have to live your life trying to fit in. So what does Twig do? What is the importance to that about Twig is we accept you as you are, where you are in your life journey. Yesterday is yesterday. It has no relevance to your right now. And when you come to us, we want to know about you. You know, what are your not I'm not going to say what your passions are, but how are you feeling? What things wake you up in the morning, not only to help yourself, but to help those around you with good intentions, like Dr. A said, to get that knowledge where it feeds a community at every level. Because I was talking to this young man when I was doing the Steve Harvey mentoring program a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things he said is that when we have mentors as a teen, as a young adult, we have good people in our communities. It creates good men and good women because we get in those programs and have those good mentors. So 10 years from now, that's good people in your community. So that's what Twig is right there. It's like, it's a good organization in your community that not only cares for you outside of business, outside of trying to accomplish something. It cares where you are right now. How do you feel about where you are right now, and what got you here to trust us or give us the opportunity to feed into your life, on a plate that's only built or filled with good intentions. That's what Twig is about. Some of my experiences, Dr. A, like I said, I've experienced all the 18 considered dialects of pain in my new book, What is Your Pain Language? Is that, man, if I reflect back in a manner that's not constructive or with good intentions, I would cry right now. No problem. Tears would flow. But my focus and Twig's focus and all the books I write is it's something on the other side of that. So as you go through your business, entrepreneur or life lessons or the things you want to accomplish or do, or even answers to the confusion of mind, know that Twig is here for you. Wright, the author, is here for you because you deserve not only to have say so, but you deserve to have that voice within speak loudly to you so you can have those good intentions and help those around you. One of the things I talked about a few days ago was if we have conversations about complaining, we become the complaint to ourselves. And
let me repeat that. That was a nugget. Repeat that. Drop that one more time.
If we have conversations and all we talking about in complaining, we become the complaint. Why? Because some constructive people are going to be around us and get tired of hearing us talk. Because it's not empowering. It's just complaining with no action. And that's one of the things that I believe in Twig and my bubble opinion, Fixing Unbroken Me, the new book, is that let's be on the other side of that because our teens need us to be positive without complaint. Teens, you know what? If you're listening to this, we all say this at some point about y'all, that these teens are clueless. They don't know what's going on. But you know what? We were there, but we're here now to help you to kind of make that journey a little easier. So guess what? It's okay to be confused. It's all right, but it's also okay to reach out to people that love you because you exist. And that's the people that generation ahead of you are those constructive folks in your community, like Dr. A, giving back. You know, Dr. A, you said something earlier, and nobody got this sidebar conversation, but, you know, Dr. A, she delivers meals for people that may not be able to get them themselves all the time. Do you know what that means for somebody to knock on your door and bring you food, the essence of life, so you can have the energy to do the things you do each day? See, that's what it's all about. It's that connectivity that Twig, you know, Dr. A, IGMA, and, you know, be it the Stewart Foundation or any other foundation, is that give back and know that when you deal with us, we're going to empower you every step of the way.
Oh my goodness, that was like a sermon without two Urshas on the door. But here's what I do know. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't bring on Mr. Lee Wright just to say I've got another podcast. I don't even know what to call you. You're more than just a person of interest as far as a guest. But I've learned so much from you. And I've learned it honestly at your expense. Because a lot of times I wasn't sure if I could render a return on your investment of time into me, but you've stayed with me. And so I want to personally put a plug in. If you're sitting and you're listening or you're driving or you're running, however you're tuning into this broadcast, you would do yourself a disservice if you did not call Lee Wright. And let me tell you why. I've got 3 reasons. If you're stuck, call. If you're not stuck but you're unsure, call. If you're just curious, call. Why? I promise you, I can say this without any hesitation or reservation. You will be empowered. You will be empowered. The Twig company is not just my go-to. I keep them on speed dial. I try not to bother you with every question, but the level of knowledge that I have ascertained from all of our conversations, I can't put a dollar value to it. I won't have enough money. So for anybody listening, if you're hesitant as if I can, blank, 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 you fill in the blank, call it. reach out. Do yourself a favor of getting in the right position to take the next step. Now, granted, I can say that about a couple of other organizations, but I can personally say, Mr. Wright, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you have done for me. I am able to talk to other businesses, other individuals, colleagues from the conversations we've had. I didn't always know the question to ask. Sometimes you would just fill in the blank. And so I personally want you to know how much I appreciate you. And yes, I'm going to offend some people. Well, you said something similar. No, I'm telling you to your face, to your ears. I have grown exponentially with the conversations that we've had. And thank you for not giving up on me, because I still don't know everything I want to be when I grow up. But I am growing. I am moving. And I have a lot of that to thank you for. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I know I've kept you, but this is a point in time when I have to remember I'm asked to not make these podcasts, these presentations of thought, exchange of information overly long. So with that, I'm going to say that it's time to bring this particular podcast to a close. Why? Because the ball is back in your court. I'm going to ask you one more time, Lee, to please share your contact information so that as people get off of this call, as they dismount, they know how to reach you without having to come back to IGMAinc.org in case you forget. But I just need them to know you're the right place to be. So share your contact information one last time.
MyBubbleOpinion.com. My phone number is 915-230-1944. Or you can email us at twig@calltwig.com anytime. And remember, the quality you put in yourself is creating a generational legacy that will live forever.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can't add. Once again, this is Dr. Angelia Griffin coming to you from ATM, All That Matters. And hopefully another topic has been had today that will continue to empower you. If you need to reach us, 770-422-4048, or you may reach out to us via email at admin@IGMAinc.org. But until the next time we come together to exchange information and knowledge, know that we maintain that the topics we discuss are simply all that matters. Good night.